Travolting presents The Fraser's Edge. Hosted by Jeff Sweeney and Stuart Elmore. Covering Blast from the Past with special guest Savannah Olson. Whoa! Whoa!
Whoa.
Jeff,
That was almost like
a huge bomb just went off.
It's almost like some kind of blast from the past. That's right, folks. Welcome to this episode of Travolting.
I feel like we had two intros.
Yeah,
in
we had two
mind,
different bits.
and we tried to like mix them together, and it just fell on its feet.
Yeah, it didn't work.
I was trying to simulate a nuclear explosion. Be like, Jeff, it's like we just survived a blast from the past.
I'm glad we got to do the bit.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, Savannah.
Hi.
That's right,
great.
folks. If I sound a little worse for wear, I'm getting over an acute upper respiratory infection, but I'm here excited.
That is not COVID.
Not COVID.
Not
and
COVID.
I'm not sick anymore. But I am excited to start 2023 with a blast
From
the past.
Yeah.
This is for folks wondering. Like, this is our first recording in 2023.
Yes, it
you
is.
probably George of the Jungle came out in 2023.
Yes,
so that was your first episode.
You guys have heard George of the Jungle. You have heard our 100th anniversary special. And as always, thank you for listening last week to our episode on Gods and Monsters.
Oh man, with our special guest
Dave Manzololo. Yes. Thank you guys for enjoying Gods and Monsters.
Yeah, talked about a lot.
We did. We talked about a lot.
But
it was a fruitful conversation we've definitely already had.
Gods and Monsters, a movie about a smash hit from the past that
Yes.
blasted away,
And this movie,
is also a blast from the past.
I was trying to think of I was going to say not a smash hit, but still a blast from the past.
It should
Yeah.
be, though.
It should be.
It's honestly one of my favorite movies.
I
of all
liked this
time.
movie. I'm just gonna say straight up,
It was
I
fun.
did actually like this movie, very much so.
I had a fun time watching this.
Yeah, me too.
It felt like a blast from the past.
Yeah.
Because now with this, you want to hear something kind of upsetting.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
This movie is almost as old. Well, maybe not almost, but it's on the later side of being as old to us as this movie was to 1962.
Yeah,
That's weird.
that is weird.
Yeah. I
Wait,
mean,
when did this movie come out?
1999. So in theory, it's 24 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's 35 in the movie. So there's still 11 years, but it's on the latter end of
Right,
the-
it's getting there.
yeah,
It's getting pretty close.
which is funny. to
Yeah.
think about.
It is. But it still feels like, I don't know. Really, everything felt super familiar.
Yeah, it's a borderline functional, it's a straight line functional movie.
Yeah.
So it still
Yeah.
plays, and history has slowed down a little bit,
Right.
so it doesn't feel like it isn't much of a cultural shock as the '60s were in comparison to the '90s.
Yeah. But this is the third movie in Brendan Fraser's mainstream success era.
Yes,
And as we discussed on George of the Jungle, he really hit his stride there with the combinations of his comedic shtick from Encino Man, combined with his
innate earnesty.
innate earnesty and charisma from his other rom-com
Yes.
dramas that he had been in the past. Combine those two together, you get George of the Jungle.
Yes.
Great mix. And then we get Gods and Monsters, which as we discussed in the last episode, is sort of sticking with his dramatic roots.
Yes,
Um,
it's a continuation of his his two-handers with
yes.
a larger. Ian McKellen wasn't really we talked about. He wasn't huge at the time, but it's two-handers with a respected actor.
Yeah. And now this is, I think we're kind of getting the formation. This is a really weird phrase I'm going to say. We're getting the initiation of the form of Brendan Fraser of what he's going to be doing.
Yes.
It's the, and I'm going to put it very bluntly, but it's the dumb guy who is a fish out of water,
Yes.
flopping his way through this new reality that he's in.
Yes.
I would point folks to movies like Bedazzled and kind of like The Mummy is sort of in that.
Goof with a heart of gold.
Yeah, The Goof.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
That's the Brendan Fraser move that we're going to be seeing for the next 10 years or so.
yes. And
Not in 10
he-
years of listening to this podcast.
He just
10
plays
years of
it
his
so
life.
well, though.
It's-
No one else can do it just like he can.
That's him in George of the Jungle. That's him in this. The Mummy, Dudley
Do
Do Right.
Right.
I mean, I was just seeing a TikTok about him in the Looney Tunes.
Yeah, Looney Tunes back in action.
Yeah.
A great movie.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like the dumb goof with a heart of gold.
Yeah.
I think this movie is really encapsulating that. It's solidifying what George of the Jungle shaped.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this movie is sort of doing. For better.
And
like
in a sense, this is just kind of a riff on the Encino Man idea of a guy from the past put in the present.
Yeah.
Except instead of being from, BC, he's from 1962.
right.
It's a great concept. I think it's a great concept for a movie at any time.
I agree. I wish this movie did more with the concept, but we'll get into that.
Ooh.
We'll talk a little
Yeah.
more about the plot.
Yeah. And kind of going along the thread of George of the Jungle, skipping Gods and Monsters, it's another like Brendan Fraser lead.
Yes.
Like he is the vehicle of the movie.
Yes, he's the draw.
Yeah. And the draw.
And this is a movie where you pitch it as like, and he's first billed above Alicia Silverstone, which is big.
Yes.
Because she was notable at this time.
Very much notable.
And so that says something about him that he's able to get above Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah.
But this movie is sold. The poster is just the two of them kissing, and it says Brendan Fraser, Alicia Silverstone, Blast from the Past.
What isn't there to like?
That's how you sell this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Yeah, I mean, do you got any other pretext, Jeff, besides
So this movie's directed by Hugh Wilson.
Yeah.
Who's he's a journeyman director. He doesn't really have he's not necessarily hugely notable, but he directed some movies that he was a comedy guy. He did the first Police Academy movie. He did the first Wives Club. He does this, and then we're gonna
First Wives Club
see him
too.
again with Dudley Do Right.
Yeah.
He's just kind of one of those journeyman guys who does a comedy every few years, and it's usually pretty well respected. People are like, yeah, this is a fun comedy.
Seemed Dudley Do Right crushed his career though, because after that it's not a lot.
Yes, Dudley Do Right does. It's kind of the end, and then he passes away of lung cancer. About 10 years later. Very sad.
Very sad. Cool.
Yeah.
Looks like the writers too are pretty close knit with all the things that the director did too. So they're kind of like a team.
Yeah. Him and Bill Kelly,
Yeah. And Hugh Wilson.
who wrote Enchanted.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he's that's all he's done.
Yeah, the
Written
writer of this
5
movie,
things.
He's written this, Premonition, a 2007 horror movie with Sandra Bullock, and then Enchanted.
Which is
What a roster.
Enchanted is so good.
Enchanted's good. It's a good movie.
I haven't seen the new one, but
Disenchanted.
But
yeah.
also featuring another really good stellar supporting cast.
Yeah, this movie has an incredible cast.
Christopher
Christopher
Walken, Sissy Spacek, David
I'm
Foley.
trapped
David Foley.
in the year 1962.
He's so dramatic in this movie.
This
it's
movie
amazing.
is kind of Christopher Walken's trial run for Frank Abagnale Sr. from Catch Me If You Can.
yeah.
It's basically the same guy.
Yeah.
He got out, he worked out his kinks,
Yeah, this was his movie to try it out, and then he perfected the art and got his Academy Award nomination for Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
The two mice fall into a vat of cream,
It's actually a really good walk.
and one
It
of
is.
them kicks and turns it into butter.
It's the hands for me.
It is. It is.
You got to do the
You
hands.
gotta do
You got to embody physically
yeah, you really
as much
do.
as you.
Well, he does. He's very expressive
Yeah,
with his
he's-
hands. You could see it in this movie.
Yeah,
he's just very.
You stand there. He's like, I think
no.
we got to call the potty. There's a threat of nuclear annihilation.
Body
It's when the blast hits.
Yeah.
For the first time, he's like, "Oh God!
Oh,
no!"
God. Oh my Lord.
2,000 degrees.
They're all dead.
It's over.
I can't do a good Christopher Walken.
Gonna set it for
impression.
another 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've established, pretext of this movie, where Fraser's at and where how this movie got made.
Yeah.
I think we've basically set it up. Quick sidebar for Alicia Silverstone. Like I said, she's big. She's coming off of Clueless, and she's coming off of Batman and Robin at the time of this movie.
Yeah.
Big.
So she is pretty well respected, even if Batman and Robin is like notoriously a disaster that like torpedoes everyone's career. She's still
kicking.
She's still kicking and coming up at this time.
Yeah.
So just want to establish that Silverstone corner before we do our show, Silverstoning.
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 Yeah, Silverstoning the heretics.
That's good.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
good.
Shall we dive into the plot, folks?
Let's dive into.
I forgot to take notes for this movie.
Me too.
But thankfully, that was funny. Thankfully, someone has written a rather detailed Wikipedia plot synopsis for this movie.
Wikipedia, we have you to thank.
So if our memories do fail us at any point.
But real quick, I do want to ask, Savannah,
Yes.
Oh, yes.
why did you pick this movie to guest on?
Because I watched this not that long ago. So my partner, Justin, is a huge Brendan Fraser lover and has kind of been walking me through his movies, to be honest. And so, like, introduced me to The Mummy and...
Have you not watched The Mummy beforehand?
Not as not sitting down as a filmmaker, like watching it. I watched it when I was a kid, but we watched all of them.
Oh, I watch that movie like every year.
See, I don't know. I just never did. And then we've watched Monkey Bone. We've watched George of the Jungle. We've watched. We haven't gotten to Dudley Do Right yet, but we've been going through.
Mm-hmm.
And he just put it on randomly, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And because I think it's a cute movie, and it's really romantic, and it's the classic like 1999 early 2000s like Hollywood rom-com. But it's not at the same time comedy. I don't know, I loved it. It made my heart happy while watching it.
It's a heart happy movie.
It is. And Brendan Fraser's good looking in it.
We're gonna talk.
I
don't have the energy to go full still breathing.
It's okay. I will.
Okay, good. You got to bring that energy. That
I trust me. I will.
He's looking like a snack in this movie.
I again, once we get to the part that I know about, that I caught my breath, I will
take my breath away.
Is it the dance scene?
No. It's literally the most random thing, and it's so prevalent.
I mean,
take my breath away.
Yes. And I mean, like, Brendan Fraser, and I said this before the podcast, but like, we just have to give like a round for the costume department on this one. They did a great job on this movie.
And
this movie is very well costumed.
It is really well costumed, and not just Brendan Fraser, but for everybody in the movie.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody has a very distinct look.
Yes.
That
it's all based in character.
It's all based in character, and it like flatters them all. Like everybody looks like a snack in this movie for some reason.
They do.
And they do a nice job with his wardrobe as the movie progresses, because it's established that the family has to kind of like
modernize,
make his costumes
Mm-hmm.
out of what they have. So if you notice, like the suit he's wearing later on is made out of the bed sheets.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's smart little details like that.
Well, it's the set dressing and decoration with costume.
Yeah.
I don't know. Those two are the biggest shining levels.
Yeah.
My favorite like look and design has always been like modern 1950s 60s aesthetic.
Yeah.
That's my favorite like look. I love retrofuturism. I love, nuclear family aesthetic.
Yeah.
Like obviously I don't want to live in that time, because like it was racist and everyone was living in terror that there might be a nuclear blast at any moment.
And sexist.
But do be looking nice though.
Yeah.
It do. That like it's like the teal blue.
Yes.
Defines
the cyan
generation.
fridge in this movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Just astounding.
Yes.
I mean, should we just start going through plot point?
Yeah, I love the first 20 minutes of this movie.
Oh my
Unconditionally.
God.
The first 20 minutes.
Without Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
But still good establishing.
Like, I would watch a whole movie of just Christopher Walken and Sissy Spacek stuck in a bunker.
Yeah.
I'd watch 2 hours of that.
Same.
Because, like, the pitch, how this movie gets started is that there's a party at a house in Los Angeles. Christopher Walken is a rich guy.
Yeah,
he came into a lot of money.
He's a rich genius.
He's a computer
genius.
scientist.
Yeah.
He's talking about, but he's also like a doomer.
Yeah.
He's convinced the world's going to end nuclear Armageddon.
He's a prepper.
Yeah.
And Sissy Spacek is his wife, who is less so, but she kind of just like, goes along with him.
Yeah.
She's the housewife.
Yes, she's a housewife.
But he's, he's not like make me a sandwich
Yeah.
woman. He's just like, they're both just quirky and
Yes, weird people.
yeah.
They probably, I mean, for how Brendan Fraser turns out when he comes out of the bunker,
Oh, yeah.
fairly liberal 1960s family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I feel like that's safe to say.
Yes.
Um,
Keyword liberal for the 60s.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Well, we
absolutely.
can, yeah,
There
we
was
can
one
get into
line in this
that.
movie where I was like, all right, let's not do that.
Is it the
It's the male,
male woman?
Yeah.
like, oh,
Like,
okay.
I get the joke. I don't think it's mean-spirited. Maybe we just don't do that.
Yeah. I don't know.
But, this movie starts out and there's a party at their house.
Mm-hmm.
And Christopher Walken just going around like, yeah, it's great. So the thing is, I've been building a bunker. I work in my backyard.
Yeah, he's been secretly building a bunker that
Yes.
that nobody knows about, and he's been keeping it very secret for
Yes.
everybody. But he has this party, and he has all of his friends over, including like CIA guys for some
Yeah,
reason.
and he's talking about like his project that he works on in the shed, but he's not telling them what it is.
There's no like context of what he does for a living
Yes.
or
No, yeah.
anything. It just throws you kind of into it. And they
I'm an inventor.
flashing news
I'm an
headlines.
inventor.
Yeah.
I'm an inventor. Optimus, I'm an inventor.
But yeah, as you said, there's a flashing news report. They're watching something, and then it cuts to breaking news, and it's like the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, Christopher Walken's like, folks, maybe we should all go to our homes and, be all on the ready for what's about to happen, but I'm sure it's all going to be fine. Then everybody leaves, and then it's like Christopher Walken goes into like hurry mode, and he starts like going to his backyard, and he opens up the shed, and it's an entrance into an underground bunker. And they start like piling up with supplies and all that stuff, and they go downstairs, and it cuts to like a jet flying over like California.
Yeah.
And I don't know like if it was like a military aircraft or something, but
I
it's,
think so. Honestly, the pilot was just like a Star Wars fighter pilot.
It's
Yeah.
some kind of military thing.
and they're having some like aircraft malfunction or something, like it's about to go down. And so the pilot ejects from the plane, and he's like aiming the plane to hit the water, but then something happens and it turns over and it's heading towards
Well, it
like,
goes straight up and then
Oh,
drops
yeah.
all the way back down.
yeah. And so then they're in the bunker at this point, and they close like the door, and then the airplane smashes into their house on top, and from the ground they just hear like everything shake and all this like dust and fire like come down. And Christopher Walken looks at like the thermometer, and it's like 2,000 degrees on the surface. Oh my God, the bombs hit.
Yeah.
Oh God! Oh
the
Lord.
bombs have hit. Oh God! Oh Lord!
They're all
oh, God.
dead.
The radiation levels are too much. Like,
And SpaceX like, well, can I go get the dishes?
the cheese is gonna be really hard to get off now.
And she's like, what about the neighbors? He's like, the dead. They're all dead.
They're all mutated or dead.
The mutants.
And so
That part's hilarious.
we should talk about the bunker for a second, because we do spend a lot of time in this bunker.
Yes.
The bunker's so cool.
It's a one-for-one recreation of their house.
Yeah.
Inside of a like underground metal like warehouse,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah.
Because you can see on the fringes of the frame like just the metal like walls kind of,
Yeah.
but inside and on top of the concrete floor, it's like they recreate like the house essentially.
Yeah.
In that
And
regard.
without a ceiling, and that's like one of the first things that she's like, can we please have a ceiling in the bedroom?
Yes.
Which, so it seems more normal, because like, of all other intents and purposes, like, it does look like a normal home.
Yeah.
It's lit like a normal home. It's
Yes.
very homey.
The only difference is that when they look out the patio, there's just shelves of supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of supplies.
A significant amount.
And I really like the fact that they had like a little fish tank in there.
Yeah.
I thought that was really
They
cool.
have a hydroponic system.
yeah.
It's the smartest. I think that's like the best thought out, like, system that I've seen
Yeah.
in film.
It makes me want to think that the writers talked to a Doom prepper about
sure they
this. It's
did.
like, what would you like put in your like dream bunker if you had limited money? And it's like, all right, I'd have like a hydroplatonic system. I'd have like this, and I have all these yacht batteries and like all of this stuff. And they're just like, okay, yeah. And they just put it all in this bunker.
And because it's like a big fish tank, and the fish breed in there, so they have
Yeah.
an endless supply of fish.
Yeah.
And the water like grows plants.
Yeah. It's perfect.
It's smart. That's
Yeah.
how you do it.
And
Yeah.
so
When I build my bunker, that's how I'm going to do it.
yeah.
And it's not super sci-fi heavy. It's very like, it is
Yeah.
practical,
Yes.
which kind of helps with the plot and like the
Yes.
setting of this film. Because if you had like a really big sci-fi element into
Yeah.
it, it would have kind of ruined the film, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
No,
Right.
it's very much a bunker that could be built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in that time.
with a lot of money, but could be built.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Christopher Walken says like, well, so they have to set the clock for
35 years.
35
it's
years.
the half-life of radiation from a nuclear blast.
which is factually incorrect. It's actually like 1,000 years.
It would be significant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the Hiroshima half-life?
I think that's still like it's habitable there, but they still have traces of radiation.
Oh yeah, they still do now. Like
Yeah.
people go and you can take something if you're there for too long. Things will start to happen, but nothing significant.
Yeah. And that's from the old atomic bomb, because I think like modern like nuclear bombs, like if you bomb something, like it's like uninhabitable for over almost like 100 years, I think.
Yeah. I know nothing about nuclear bombs.
I only know it based on what I've watched from Chernobyl, the HBO series.
Yep. I was about to say it's because like I think the next time I'm going to actually see anything about bombs, it's going to be Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. And so, but I know like Chernobyl, obviously very well foretold info thing is that like obviously the land is still uninhabitable and people still can't go there. And that was what, 1908? Is that the 80s? Chernobyl?
Was looking it up. This is our nuclear corner.
Yes, it's our nuclear corner. Discussing
1986.
What a
which is the
blast.
Chernobyl disaster.
1986, and they don't expect it to be habitable until like I think like 100 years, based on all the radiation that leaked out. So it's still uninhabitable right now.
So I'm reading that. So essentially,
Tell us, Jeff.
for Chernobyl released more nuclear content than Hiroshima or Nagasaki.
Yeah.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that nuclear material is still in the air
Yeah.
and the ground there, but the amount of nuclear content that was like long life nuclear content that was in the Little Man and Fat Boy or whatever they're called,
Yeah.
is basically at this point equivalent to what is in any major city in the world,
Yeah.
just from natural like cars and whatnot.
Yeah.
Apparently, like New York City has the exact same amount of nuclear material or radioactivity as Hiroshima or Nagasaki,
Right.
which is both frightening.
It's frightening because that's like
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
long
much
after
radioactivity is just produced by cell phones and laptops.
it's like
and
80
cars.
years later too.
Yeah,
To
Yeah.
think about.
it's like the main threat from nuclear bombs at that time is the immediate radiation that just like spreads right away. That's concentrated,
Yeah.
and there isn't even a nuclear blast in this movie, so it's funny that we're talking about this. But
Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah.
no nuclear, it's just a plane crashing.
yeah. But he's like, it's a 35-year half-life. We're going to have to be locked down here for 35 years.
And we never even mentioned that Sissy is very pregnant.
Yes,
like 9 months
extremely
pregnant.
She's maybe the most pregnant.
Yeah,
person
it's
in
like
everything.
8 or 9 months, you know?
Yes.
Very much.
Because she gives birth a week in, right?
Yeah,
how it goes?
I think
Yeah.
so.
He's an atom bomb, baby, little atom bomb. I can't believe they didn't use that song in this movie.
That
There's
is
a song
actually-
called Atom Bomb Baby.
That's crazy.
Shocked they didn't use that song in this movie.
They didn't.
Maybe they couldn't get the rights.
Also, it's actually
Ridiculous.
very quick when
Ridiculous.
radiation's safe to leave your bunker.
Yeah.
It's like there's some articles say like weeks, some articles say years,
Yeah.
but it's like the longest I've read so far is like 5 years.
Yeah, I'm sure in the 60s he had less knowledge about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And people were freaking out.
Yeah.
And if you were super rich, I don't know, it makes sense that a super rich person would like freak out and do everything in their possibility to make it livable down there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I made it livable for 35 years. We're going to be down here for 35
Yeah, just
years.
to make sure it's absolutely safe.
But I've also held the belief that like the bunker industry is also the most scam artist industry because when it comes time to like really test them, who's going to sue you if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
You never know. You wouldn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's the thing, right? Like I feel like bunkers are really just cool accessories, but when it comes to actually like having something to save yourself from a nuclear bomb, just don't.
I would have a bunker just for hangout space.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. It's just cool.
Yeah.
It's just a cool thing to have. Your literal man cave.
A literal man cave.
Yeah.
Or just like, I don't know. It is cool to have just like a secondary house.
Yeah. Underground.
Just in case.
Yeah. But yeah, and then it's kind of we're going into montage time, right?
This
Yeah.
is my favorite section of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, this is how you see how Adam's personality is
Yes.
formed.
And they named him Adam because he's
They
The
believe
first
he
human
is.
in the new world.
Yeah.
first human in the new world.
And then plot twist when he meets Eve.
Eve,
Which I love. Like, it's so corny, but I love
It
it.
is very corny. It's nice though. It's nice. This movie is just nice.
It is.
Yeah.
But it is corny, and that's like, you gotta appreciate it for what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would say, like, my favorite part of this sequence is that we're seeing, like, the family go through 35 years. Like, we jump a week, and then 3 months, and then a year, and then 5 years, and then 10 years. And every time we jump, in addition to just seeing how the family's doing, which is Sissy Spacek losing her shit.
Yeah.
Christopher, you're already laughing because you know what I'm going to talk about. Christopher Walken just be like trying to teach Adam things about the world. He's like trying to explain baseball to him. He's not getting it because he can't show him baseball.
Right. It's like you have to see it.
You have to see it to believe it.
So that's not what I was really laughing about. I'm laughing about the Joey Slotnick.
Oh, yes.
B plot, because that is my favorite side plot of the whole movie. Is
every time it keeps cutting away from this
to what's happening above.
Yes.
And the first thing is that the CIA agents come back and they see the wrecked the house, and they're thinking the family's just dead.
Yeah.
They're like, I mean,
that's it.
That's it. They're dead, and they're like, well, I guess that's it. And then it cuts back to the family living in the bunker, doing other things, and it cuts back to they're building like a
Bar.
like a milkshake.
No, it's a milkshake.
It's like a milkshake restaurant or something like that, and they're digging out, like, making the foundation, and they see one of the hatches for it. And the construction guy, oh, hey, boss, I don't know what that is. And they look it over. It's like, I think that's a septic tank. I don't want to mess with that. Just put the foundation over it. So they block, like, that's like their back exit because the shed got made. Like, Christopher Walken says that they can't go out the front exit anymore. They have to go out the back exit.
Yeah.
Which has an elevator that goes up, and that's the...
Yes.
And that's where we get that nice scene.
That good scene.
My one little beef, though, is that when they say they're going to put the foundation over it, and then when we cut to them using the elevator to get out, it just, like, crumples through the floor. And I'm like, that would be sheer concrete above you. Like, your elevator ain't going
Hydraulic elevator, baby.
But even then, it's like concrete. Nah, your elevator is gonna break and you're stuck down there forever.
But
that's another interesting movie.
Yes, that would be an interesting movie.
Sissy Spacek, Christopher Walken's like, what do you mean we can't get out? We're stuck here forever.
She starts fermenting her own alcohol.
Yes,
that would be good.
I mean, like, I was watching this with my partner too, and like what, Jeff? No. But no, we were talking. It's like if you were actually
very happy
like
for you.
Yeah, we are very happy.
If you were actually like stuck in a bunker for that amount of time, like I'd probably go down the Sissy Spacek route of just drinking myself to death like every day.
Oh, 100%.
No matter
the cooking sherry.
Well, like no matter what you have in the bunker to preoccupy with your time, like 35 years is 35 years.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna go through it all, and it's just gonna eat you away. So yeah, I'd
get into some wild shit in the bunker.
Yeah.
But the first time we cut up after they lay the foundation is it's Mom's soda shop or ice cream shop or something.
Yeah.
And it's just this really nice, like, 1960s diner, and they're playing Bing Crosby or some shit. And Joey Slotnick is like the...
He's one of the servers or whatever.
Yeah, him and his mom.
Him and his mom.
Him and his mom. And it's this shot of him, like, at the counter just talking with some, girls and whatnot. He's like, yeah, I'm just a part-time worker. I make $1.50 an hour. Ah, ha, ha. And they're all laughing because that was a livable wage at the time. And the mom just, like, walks around and delivers ice cream and sodas to some young whippersnappers at a table.
Everyone's happy.
And then we cut back down underneath. We see a little bit of the family. We cut back up. It's the mid-70s, 1975. We jump from 65 to 75.
At this point, it's turned into, like, a diner?
It's, like... kind of
hasn't turned into like a Grinch bar yet, right?
No, it's just like a bar, and it's got kind of a disco bar.
Yeah.
Well, we get the first taste of disco during this scene.
Right.
Yeah, it's when they mention next time, like, I miss those flower
because the mom's like, I miss the flower children.
Yeah.
75, and she's like walking, delivering beers to a bunch of, like, 1975 destitutes.
I love this bit. I love this
it's
bit.
So good.
Well, it's a good way to show that time is passing.
Yeah. And Slotnick looks like a little grimier.
Yeah. Each time.
Oh my
he
God,
gets
the
worse.
makeup on him at the very end, though.
Yeah.
Again, more
he's a little
props.
grimier at this time.
Yeah.
And then, we cut back to the family for a little bit, and then we're in 1985.
Yeah.
And it is now like just a
Full Grinch.
It's a full
Yeah.
like grunge like dive bar.
Yeah.
Everyone there looks disgusting. Slotnick like has long
He has,
hair.
like, a-
he has a tattoo of the sun on his forehead.
I thought that was like a almost not satanic, but like
I thought it was kind of satanic too.
It does look kind of satanic.
it looks like, yeah, I don't know.
And his mom is still there. It's
And
still
he-
kicking.
yeah, they're still like not living underneath his mom's roof,
Yeah.
but
Is it the 80s when she's like, I'm
85.
fucking selling this thing? And
The exact same shot every time, which I like.
yeah, that
Of
too
like
Yeah.
the
at
mom
the
carrying
bar.
the drinks around and him at the bar.
you know what that means on a logistical sense?
There was a small little part of the set, like just not the full thing.
Yeah, that or like they had to like pick a day, shoot those scenes, and then do something else that day. And then
They
while the
totally
set
did.
dressers redressed the set,
Yeah.
and then come back and make the same angle of the cameras.
I mean, we've done that. We did that on Shining Girls.
We worked on an Apple TV series called Shining Girls where we did the exact same thing.
Yeah, and it's a cool way to do that. And I was just thinking about, I bet their costume budget, their like production design budget was way higher because they didn't.
to be.
Because if you think about it, there's like 4 or 5 like,
Different bar sets.
but like the house, the bunker, that's
Yeah.
all on stage. You build that once, you're done,
Yeah.
and then you're going around Los Angeles for the rest. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It doesn't feel like you're not doing that much crazy stuff. It was probably they could put more budget towards the things that actually matter,
Yeah.
rather than, and that's kind of what I do like, because you are noticing more of the Art Deco, that kind of stuff.
They do a really nice job redecorating this bar for those 3 periods of
Yeah.
time. And then
Yeah.
eventually when it just becomes like a dilapidated shack.
And it really sells that thing that you're thinking as the audience member when they do come up. It's like, oh my god, they're going to think in like a post-apocalyptic wasteland,
Yeah.
and they do, and the audience believes it because of how good the art decoration
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Let's
And
go.
costume
Let's
design.
go. So good.
I
So
agree.
good. But yeah, so I think it's the 80s when the mom is like, I'm going to sell this fucking bar, and the dude's like high on like heroin or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, Ma, what if you just give it to me?
Yeah.
What if you just give it to me?
She's like, 0 down. I'll
Zero.
just give it to you.
Yeah. And then
And he doesn't do anything with it.
right.
He becomes homeless.
Yes. Just cut back to the family, and that's when we see Brendan Fraser
Yes.
in all his glory for his birthday. The reveal is really nice.
It is.
Like, I'm trying to think of the shot. There are some really good shots in this movie too. This movie was shot very well.
I think you don't see it. You start with them
Lighting the birthday candles.
lighting the birthday candles, and then I think you're on the cake and it pans up to him.
Yeah, it's like they're bringing the cake out, and then like the cake sets down,
Yeah.
and you see Brendan Fraser's face, and you're like, "Let's go!"
It's a great reveal.
Jeff, I think it's time. I think it's time we go to the corner.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Cue the hair ranking music.
Hair ranking.
Welcome to the hair ranking. Now, Brendan Fraser's hair in this.
It's not.
It's
It's
very much like I know what they're doing, and not only
Well,
I know
yeah.
what they're doing, it changes over the course of time. This is where last season, Savannah, when we
Yeah.
did like the Travolting hair ranking, story was like a scoring category for this. It wasn't so much a matter of how sexy the actor looked,
Yeah.
but how well did the hair progression contribute to the story. And this movie, if I had to put like a theme attached to this movie, and that is like appearances lead to the theme, like as we just talked about with set deck, with costume,
Yeah.
with makeup, and with Brendan Fraser's hair. Because it starts off, he's got the very standard, like, flat top hairstyle that was prevalent in that time.
well, it's kind of matching his dad's hair, because
Yeah.
guess what? He's only getting his hair cut by his mom or his dad.
Right. But then when he goes up top and he's there for a little while, he gets like a sleeker, like nice, like late 90s,
Well,
early
they meet
2000s
a-
cut.
Gay man,
Yes.
Yes.
and that kind of
Fixes everything.
helps. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, I don't want to do like 2 rankings for this just because it's like a minimal change.
Yeah, just one ranking for how
But-
overall the hair you
But I really do like how it goes to the story. So I guess I need to look at the list.
I got it.
I'm gonna put this
Oh my gosh.
Did
above.
you not know we do a hair ranking?
What's
gonna-
number 1?
Still
George of the
breathing.
Jungle, yeah.
Ugh. I'm gonna put this above. I'm gonna put it above the Scout, number 5,
The Scout, number
purely
5.
for the story aid.
It does. It is a story aid.
It's a story aid.
They thought about it.
They
were
really
thinking.
put some thought into the hair, and you have to admire it for that.
The past.
So that's
New
the
number 5.
That's the hair
Wow.
ranking. But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his hair obviously like Brendan can like do any hairstyle.
He really can.
We've established that. He has established that.
We're coming up. Our next episode might be new number 1.
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah.
I might feel
It might be
What's-
another.
Lay Mummy is coming up next week.
Mummy.
Oh yeah, no, that is number 1 for sure. I was wondering, I didn't see it on there.
I don't know if it's gonna be George of the Jungle.
You don't know if it's gonna beat it?
What?
You don't know if it's gonna beat it?
I don't know if it's gonna be George of the Jungle.
Ooh, impressive.
Well, actually, there is a period in the Mummy he has long hair.
There is, yes.
Yeah, I have to think about that.
I do want to do a quick aside because Stuart, you mentioned how this is a well-shot movie.
Yeah.
This movie is shot by Jose Luis Alcaine, who's a Spanish cinematographer. He was the first cinematographer to use fluorescent tubes as lighting.
Oh my gosh. What a perfect movie for it
But
too.
the thing is, which is why he's perfect for the look of this movie.
Yeah.
I think this is the only American movie he ever did.
No shit.
He has all done like Spanish,
Couldn't tell.
and Mexican films. He's Pedro Almodovar's cinematographer. So, Pain and Glory, Parallel Mothers, all of his movies. But this is the only American movie I can see on this list.
That's insane, actually.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I want to go to filmgrab.com to try to get some like stills from this movie because it is really, really, really good.
I just wanted to shout out this DP while we were talking about how this movie looks.
Yeah.
The movie looks really, really good. And I'm trying to find like some stills of it to like show Blast from the Past.
Another thing I was really enchanted by during this was at the beginning. The second I realized they're doing time lapse, I was like, oh, they're gonna have to put old age makeup on Sissy Spacek and Christopher Walken. I cannot wait to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
And Sissy Spacek ages gracefully in this movie.
Yeah. But if you think about it, they haven't been outside getting like sun damages your skin.
Yeah.
So like it makes sense that they wouldn't age too much.
Yeah.
They've also been eating the same thing. There's a lot of different elements that they're not getting into.
Because Walken would be in his like late 50s when they filmed this movie.
Okay.
Mid to late 50s. And he's playing probably in his 30s at the beginning.
Yeah.
Same with Sissy Spacek, for that matter. And so I think they did a smart move casting someone who's like of an older age.
Yeah.
And then de-aging them for the opening and then up-aging them for the end.
Yeah, but not like they really do it subtly.
Yeah, they mostly just give Christopher Walken, they really do him dirty in his hairline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They like literally just like kind of U-shape him.
Yeah. But it still works though, because again, it's subtle.
It looks good and it looks very funny, which is the master. He's like, my hair is going away. It's not what he says, but...
Oh, the production designer for this also did Dudley Do Right.
He's probably one of Hugh Wilson's guys.
Probably. Which is kind of cool to have that, like, consistentness.
Yeah. We're talking about Dudley Do Right in 2 weeks. Wow. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Hugh Wilson Power Hour.
So we're at the birthday party where he's turning 35.
His reveal.
Yeah, and they give him a suit which is made out of the bed sheets.
Yeah.
It's got this nice cyan like checker pattern.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really compliments him.
He looks great.
The color coordination, like I said, it's the cyan, like turquoise.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think he looks great.
And it's the day before the bunker's about to open.
That means he was born a day after the bunker closed then.
Right.
Yeah. I think they say a week.
A week?
I think they say it's a week before he's like, it's a week until we open the bunker.
Right. Oh,
okay,
yeah.
that would make sense.
And so, Sissy Spacek's like dying to get out of this bunker. And when it opens, it's like a Christmas morning scene, which I thought was really, really interesting. Because like the doors just like click, They unlock, it opens, and everybody wakes up from bed, and they all see the door, and like the elevator's still intact. Like we can go up. It's like, do we just all go up now? And Christopher Walken's like, well, no, like we
must be cautious.
We must be. This is where we must be. Our
wait
most
for
cautious.
night.
Right. And so he puts on this like yellow hazmat suit. We cut back to above the bar, where Joey Slotnick is like just
homeless and drugged out.
Homeless, drugged out.
Yep.
And he's like
just waiting to die, essentially.
Yeah.
And then the ground starts to shake.
He says, I'm looking for a sign.
Yeah.
Or he says like he doesn't believe in God.
Right.
He's like, I don't think there's anything. I would need a sign to prove it. And then the earth starts shaking.
And then from in the middle of the room, the floor cracks open, and Christopher Walken, like, well, in this like case, a man in a yellow suit.
Yeah, he's in like the Marty McFly.
Yeah, I was about to say it's the exact same kind of like
suit that the yellow with
it's a nice little callback actually.
Hole.
And so he gets up and sees Joey Slotnick, and he's like, "Oh my god! Oh my god, this is it!" And he walks up. He's like, "Stay away from my elevator." He's like, "Stay away from my elevator," and uses that as like his mantra.
Stay away from my elevator.
And then he goes out and starts like exploring the world a little bit.
Just one block is all he gets.
That's all
as far
he
as
gets.
He
He gets outside and sees like how decrepit everything is.
Yeah.
And one thing we forgot to mention, it's like as like the bar sort of evolves, the mom throws in like hints of like the neighborhood's going to shit. Everybody's getting shot. And so like it's in a bad part of like LA or something.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, probably not close to downtown, but you know, like it kind of like goes towards that, like that area.
Yeah.
And so he gets out and starts looking around, and he's seen like people like with guns pointing it around.
Well, it's a cool shot as he's walking, and one person stumbles out of a bar, pukes.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you see a guy drive by with a gun pointing out the window, like haggling him.
Yeah.
And then he comes up against an
adult bookstore.
The drag.
Oh,
the drag queen.
The drag queen.
Or the.
Yeah.
Or the
I don't know.
hooker,
I'm not gonna say it because I don't know what the.
Yeah.
Correct term in this day and age would be for that exact person, but
this is one of the two things in the movie where I'm like, this movie's showing its age a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he's really off put by a transsexual person.
Yeah.
He's like, ah.
But if you in all reality, that would be very jarring.
That would be jarring for him.
But then the adult bookstore, which that part I'm like, I guess I don't know the whole entire history.
He goes in the bookstore, and we just linger outside with the shot, and we
he
hear him go,
out.
ah, and then he runs out
with his hands up in the air, just like that.
It's disgusting.
And then
I saw boobs.
Ew.
And then
not allowed to see those.
He's been seeing the same pair for 35 years. Come on, like. Oh, we forgot to mention how he basically created the television down in the bunker.
Yes.
By the way,
he creates a television using a reverse projector on a mirror, and it's very good.
Yeah.
He's a genius.
He is a genius.
He's a smart guy.
No one will know.
He just after the bookstore is when he runs back in the bunker, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That was his tipping point. Apparently.
Yeah. He gets back down to the bunker. He's talking to Sissy Spacek about it. It's like, oh my god, darling, it's crazy up there.
It's a race of mutants. People are vomiting in the street. The survivors.
People are both genders, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
It's like.
He's like, we should reset the clock.
The best thing I heard Christopher Walken say this was like, they're people who are, I don't know how to say this, like multisexual.
Multisexual.
Man.
And
but it's that, you know.
Yeah.
And they're talking at like the dinner table and about like what they're gonna do. It's like, we're gonna reset the clock and wait another 10 years. It's his face like, no, like we can't do that. He's like, I tell you, like we are not going back. And then he has like a heart attack.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
they
was
so
all
off
too
put
much.
by the porn.
Yeah.
Gave him a heart attack.
Yeah. So he's pretty much like bedridden for a while. And the Kickstarter of this point for Fraser is that they need supplies.
Yeah, because they're running out of the batteries, and I mean it's been 35 years. You would need a restock.
Yeah.
Right. And so Fraser's like, I'll go up.
Yeah. And she's basically, I'm afraid you might have to.
Yeah.
For my alcohol.
And she gives him
There's a place called a liquor store.
Write that down.
Write that down.
And that's a good bit. Spacek really plays that scene well.
Oh my god.
Where she's like basically telling him where he'll need to go. And he's like, they used to be called a grocery store. Write that down.
Yeah. I don't know. The way that they teach him everything is so good. Like, they're not bad people. They're really good people, and
they're good people. They're just ill-informed.
Yeah, they're just weirdos.
A little stir crazy. They're weird people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny when Chris Walken's like, Ed, stay away from the adult bookstores.
There's noxious gas.
Poisonous gas that's invisible.
And then when he gets up and he's like, everybody get out.
There's poison gas.
And people are running away.
Yeah.
That actually, I hope the next part we talk about is when Brennan first comes up.
Yes.
When
Yes.
Adam comes up. Because it's so funny. It gets me every time.
Because he gets up and he's wearing his
guy.
like goofy suit, and Joey Sonic is like, "Oh my God,
Who
it's
are
the bag."
you?
He's like, "Who are you?" "I'm the son." It's like, "Of course."
The father and the son. And then there's candles. Like, he starts creating like a whole
little shrine.
Yeah, shrine.
He has
Remember,
written
it's
on the wall,
"Stay away from my
elevator."
And
It's
it's like,
perfect.
"I ruined my line." But it's like, "Oh well, yeah. I guess you've been very bad then." It's like, "Oh my God, I have." And it's like, "Will you be back?" It's like, "Yep, I promise."
It's like optimistic Jesus
Yes.
Yeah.
from the earth.
It's like he will come back.
He
Yeah.
will return.
And he gets outside, and that's when
He just like stares at the sky.
Yeah, and he's like, look at it, the sky. And they're like,
And everyone's like, what are you
What?
looking at? What's looking? He's like,
Just
it's
look at it.
incredible.
look at it. It's the sky.
Yeah.
just I don't know what it is about Brennan's diction in this movie,
Yeah.
or his like the way he inflicts his lines, but it's so good and crisp. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know how else to describe it, but I don't know.
It feels authentic for the time.
Yeah.
It's authentic, but it's also like a slight mixture, and you're like, that would be how somebody who's been locked away in a bunker
Yeah.
would
And
talk.
he's only been raised by two parents and television from the time.
Yeah.
So television is his only exposure to the outside world.
So it's very much like that. "Hey, what you gonna do there, Johnny? Fall down the stairs."
And that's how people
I love it.
And that's how people talk on TV and movies
Yeah.
from the time.
and
It was
an intelligent.
it was very over the top.
person.
Like Lucille Ball, he watched a lot of I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
That's how she talks. And so he talks like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, gee willikers.
Oh, zoinks!
Scoop, oh, scoop.
Hot diggity dog.
I know. I'm trying to think of the other things. I don't know. Just the way he speaks, he's like, just look at it, and he's
Yeah,
just
just look at it.
He's just so very
Bubbly. He's true.
yeah.
He's a pure human being.
Yeah.
It's such a pure, which is just like also.
Yeah.
Brendan's like the perfect role for
It's
that.
exactly Brendan's like bread and butter. It's what his core is.
Yeah.
It's the dumb goof with a heart of gold.
Yeah, I wouldn't even put dumb. I would just say goof with a heart of
Yeah,
gold.
because he's not dumb. He's really smart. He knows a lot of different languages. His
Yeah.
his dad's a genius, so he's also like kind of a genius.
Yes.
But
He's a-
also just has no.
he's smart for
doesn't know anything.
1962 standards.
Yeah, he just doesn't know the current standards.
And so he walks out and he has like a visceral reaction to the adult bookstore. He's like, everybody run, poison gas.
And then the mailwoman.
Yeah, and he meets a mail woman who
Who's
is
black.
Who's a black actress.
Yeah.
And he just is shocked by this. And I'll leave it at that and say maybe that's the 10 seconds we could have cut out of this movie.
Yeah.
But
Just watch the movie.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
He doesn't say the word you're probably thinking I'm
No.
implying, but it's just he's off put by it.
Yeah.
But not in, like he's not like
Yeah, it's
he's
not-
not like he's not like grossed out or anything.
It's not racist. It's just like in modern
we-
standards, it's like maybe we
Did we have to
could have done
point it
that a
out?
little differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I think, well, I don't know what comes after that.
Then he keeps walking, and that's
Is this when he gets on the bus?
He basically just gets right on the bus, right?
And he starts like going around the bus, and he's like, "I'm looking for a Holiday Inn
I
or
know
a
I'm
grocery
a
store."
grocery store, and yeah, and
It's
then
like,
this,
there's
he's
one
next to
right
a
there.
crackhead.
Yeah.
He's like, there's one over there.
It's like you don't have a gun, do you? And the guy's like, yeah.
He's like, "Driver, please stop the bus
immediately."
This is my stop."
And he's like screaming it. Driver, please stop the bus.
It's so like articulate and
Yeah,
like
that's
Driver's
what
not
I'm saying.
listening.
Scripted.
And so the crackhead just gets him and he's like,
"Stop the bus! Get him on the bus!"
and the bus stops.
Yeah, and then he falls.
And he goes to a grocery store.
He goes up to the meat counter. He's like, I want 5, like what? 500 pounds
Yeah, 500
of meat.
pounds.
And he's like, fresh or
Richard
frozen?
It's like, ha ha ha,
Frozen.
Yeah.
Duh, because he doesn't know what fresh meat is.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
And it's like, well, for an order that size, you're gonna need like, a truck delivery or something. It's like, oh, gee willikers, my mom only gave me $3,000 for all this trip. I'm thinking I'm gonna need more money. And we forgot to mention that like he has like a bunch of old baseball cards with him.
Yes. Very vintage.
As well as some stocks
in like IBM and
Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
All these like tech companies
that they think are like totally useless now because the world was destroyed, but they're actually gonna be worth like millions and millions of dollars.
One joke I do like is that the teller's like describing the prices per pound. Mm-hmm. He's like, it'll be like $4.03 or $6.07 per pound, and he's referring to $6.07. But because Fraser comes from a time when it cost cents for per pound, he interprets that as hundreds of dollars. And so it is an expensive purchase still, like, but he's like, wow, that's almost $400,000.
Yeah.
Because he's thinking like 607 times 500.
Yeah.
Instead of 607 times 500.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. It's a good joke. I like that.
That is a good joke. I don't think I fully caught that.
It's a good inflation joke.
Yeah.
I mean, but
everyone's
that's
favorite type of humor.
Yeah, that is.
But he leaves the grocery store because he realizes he doesn't have enough money.
Which another thing about this character that cracks me up is his like manners.
Yes.
Because he's like, "Will you please excuse me?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Thank you," and then walks off.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just hilarious.
And so he leaves the grocery store and he decides he needs to make money. So he goes to a pawn shop to sell baseball cards.
Which, how would you know to go there?
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, he tries to go back to the bunker.
Yes.
But he can't remember where it was.
He's like,
You know, he says, "I'm lost." That's what when he's at the grocery store, he's like, "I'm lost. Do you know where I live?" And the guy's like, "No." Why would I know that?
And so he looks for any adult bookstore he can. He finds one, and he sees that the bunker is not next to it.
Yeah.
But there is a pawn shop that says we buy baseball cards.
Which I think it is the one that's close to the bunker. Is it not?
I don't think it is. I think it's just another adult bookstore.
Okay.
Because as we know, LA is the CEO of adult bookstores.
Also, one thing we forgot to mention is before Brendan Fraser goes up, he's talking to his mom about like trying to bring a girl home too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the other like kind of plot point we kind of forgot to talk about. That
because that is part of the.
he has to like bring a wife down who's not a mutant. Who's just like, you gotta bring home a normal girl who's not a mutant. And if you can, try to get one from Pasadena.
Yeah.
I don't like those Valley girls, but the ones from Pasadena have good manners.
Yeah.
And then we find out Eva's from Pasadena, which I really liked.
Yeah.
That was a good
Everything's
bit.
like super perfect and like I don't know, it's convenient but also like makes sense type of way.
Yeah. And so but Brendan Fraser goes in the pawn shop and he like has like this box of baseball cards. And he starts like showing them to this like sleazy cashier.
Like, I could get, how much you want for the Mickey Mantle?
They were gonna give him $500 for the whole box.
Yeah. And it's like each card's worth several thousand.
Yeah, 6,000.
Because they're mint condition essentially.
Right. And Eve sees all this. It's like, you're getting ripped off, right? Like this card, Mickey Mantle card alone is worth $4,000. And he's like, well, you're fired. Like, you can't keep your mouth shut. You get bounced from one job to the next job, and because you're
this guy just kind of lays her out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a good person, so fuck you.
Yeah.
We do get the iconic screenwriting line of "You're fired." No, I quit.
Well, you gotta put something in there.
Yeah, you got to do what they do in Independence Day, where it's like, if you walk out that door, you're fired. Catch you later, Mario.
Catch you later.
But yeah, they walk out. It's like, here, I'll take you to your bus or whatever.
Yeah.
And so she's walking. It's like, all right, so where are we going? It's like, where are we going? Like, I'm going home. And it's like, oh, well, like, can you like take me to a hotel? It's like, well, how are you getting around? Like, where are you staying? And he's not.
Yeah.
He's like lost. It's like, well, I'm lost. It's like, oh no, you are like a lost puppy.
And she's like,
Yes.
I'm a psychic, and let me see if I can read. And she's like, it's your first time in LA. You're staying at a Holiday Inn.
It's like, yeah.
In Hollywood.
It's like, yeah.
How'd you know? It's like, wow, you mutated psychic abilities.
It's so funny though, because if you think of like watching this movie now, it's just it's just deeply more funny of how, like, think if somebody was stuck in a bunker and came up now and was like, you know, people talk about psychics all the time and like, here's my crystal that has social power. Like, you'd be like, what? Whoa, why do you have a crystal?
We gotta buy all these crystals, Ma. They have the fucking powers.
But I love how Eve's character is established from the beginning as being a good human. Like, just initially off the bat, like, your first initial reaction is to not let this dude get duped out of money.
Yeah, she's innately like a good person with her own like flaws that women have in like early 2000s movies, which is can't find a man.
Can't find a good man.
Right, yeah. Can't find
because she has a man. She did, and it was Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion. Who I don't care what the movie says is a good man and deserves to come back in Firefly season 2.
Yes, please. let's do it. Let's. Oh, God.
All right, I'm off that horse.
We'll talk about Nathan later.
But oh man, there was one other thing that I was gonna mention about that whole interaction. Shit. Oh,
Alicia Silverstone
I remember.
and Batman. Right
so
now.
like, I'm interested here. I was trying to go through the trivia page, see if I could find it. I don't think I could, but I'm interested if anybody else can find this. This movie reads to me like it was made to be rated R, because there's a few F-bomb drops in this.
Yeah.
And when you go into the adult bookstore, which they go at the very end of the movie, all of like the movies and posters are blurred out.
Yeah.
Like, and not like subtly blurred out, like post-production blurred out. And there's a few F-bombs that I feel like, wait a minute, like, are they getting away with too much? And I don't know, there was just like a few moments where I was like, this seems like a pretty like mature theme for whatever they're going with. And so I thought, like, this reads like a movie that was made to be R, but then in post-production, the studio cut to be PG-13.
The classic...
the classic old dog syndrome
aesthetic
thing. But I'm very interested in knowing if that's true, because it gives me that vibe.
I was able to find information that they did have to blur all the porn to keep it, but I couldn't find anything about this being rated R at some point.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm very interested to see. Because, I mean, like, I can imagine this movie being very, like, adult, mature rated comedy. But on the flip side, I could see it being, like, knocked down a peg to be, like, more accessible for wider audiences. Because it also has that family-oriented rom-com theme.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the thing that has me is that if it's an Alicia Silverstone, Brendan Fraser comedy, I think you would want it to be PG-13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a wider audience, because you want more people to watch it.
Yeah.
Especially after, like, Clueless.
Yeah.
And
After
stuff.
Clueless and Batman and
George of the
Robin.
Jungle.
George of the Jungle.
Like, that's specifically, that's a kid's
like, these are teen
movie.
heartthrobs.
Yeah.
These are. Yeah, absolutely.
Or young adult.
Young adult heartthrobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then she's like walking away from him, and it's like, oh, it's like, you're a weirdo. It's like, well, no, like, can you please take me to my hotel? It's like, I don't let strangers in my car. It's like, well, if it makes you feel any better, I do not have a gun. She's like, oh, that makes a big difference, and just runs.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, and he starts chasing her. It's like, wait, was there something I said? I'll give you this Mickey mantle if you take me to my holiday. It's like, you're gonna give me $4,000 just to give you a ride? He's like, yeah, sure. Like,
I'd say yes.
yeah. And she's like,
I'm afraid you can get my car any day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Mickey mantle or no Mickey mantle, don't matter. Mantle that, Fraser.
Yeah, I was trying to think of some. I was going to say
that, Mickey.
Mantle, more like.
Mantle that, Mickey.
I don't know if that works, guys.
Yeah, we're just riffing. We're riffing. But you know,
he's a Ruth to my babe.
Oh my God.
Harry to my Como.
There we go. So she does give him a ride.
She gives him a ride, and she's trying to find traffic information, and she comes across an oldies station on AM.
Yeah.
He's like, put that back. That's Mr. Como. Perry Como.
Yeah.
And he sings along. She's like, you like this stuff? And he knows all the lyrics, and he really gets into it.
Yeah.
But she does take him to the Holiday Inn,
mm-hmm.
drops him off, and then she zips out of there.
And so then he gets to his hotel, or he goes to the front desk, and it's like, hi, I would like to stay in this hotel, please. Like, great, I'll need a card. He's like, a card? Because he doesn't know about credit cards. Yeah. He's like, yeah, like, do you have, like, an American Express or Visa? He's like, oh, I know what you mean. And he pulls out a baseball card.
Yeah.
And then cut to in the hotel room.
Yes.
Like, nothing needs to be said.
We don't get the establishment about how it worked out, but it worked out.
Yeah. So he gets in his hotel, and the hotel like person gets
bellboy
gets him there. It's like, and then you'll just dial 9, to get out. It's like, get out of what?
The hotel.
The hotel.
It's like,
Okay.
Okay.
He just totally does not understand what that means at all.
Saying you press 9 and then you can leave.
Right, but that's the thing. They don't go to that bit.
Yeah. They don't return to it.
They don't return to that bit, but that was a perfect example of like, I can't get out.
Yeah.
I'm pressing 9 and nothing's happening. Which would have been a great bit.
It would have.
But then
he's like, it is customary to provide a tip. And he gives the guy like $2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, still, I think the bellboy was like, thank you.
Thanks.
Like, no one's done that.
Yeah, and the bellboy kind of like creepily exits the room.
And then Rob Schneider appears in the chat, and he's like, excuse me, Mr. McAllister.
But then Eve comes back.
Yeah, she comes back the next morning.
Because she's a good... I thought it was the same night. Is it the next morning? Okay.
She's like, I can't believe I'm doing... I can't do it. Silverstone.
I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, coming back, because she, again, is a nice person.
She has a very particular voice.
You're just like a lost puppy.
Lost puppy dog is one of the best, like, tropes. And one of the best kind of men.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It just works.
There's just something about like, not stupid. Not that he is stupid, but just like
Clueless.
a stupid. Yeah, clueless man.
Yeah.
No wonder she was so attracted to him.
Right.
That just like, I don't know. It's just pure. He's just a pure human.
He is. And so, what happens after? So she goes to the hotel and finds him.
Yeah, she tries to give him the card back.
He's like, I can't take this. Like, this is way too much money. I just gave you a ride. And he's like, what do you want from me? It's like, well, Eve, if you can't, like you seem like a really nice person. Like, maybe we should marry each other. Because doesn't he like dive right in of like, you should be my girlfriend or my wife? It's like, what?
Or help me find one.
You're right. It's like, no. Like, maybe you can help me find one. But first he needs to like get supplies.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
It's like, why? Are there like starving people somewhere that are you like on a missionary trip? It's like, well, they're not starving yet, but they're about to.
Yeah.
And so then that's when she decides to help him. They rent like a U-Haul box truck and they just go around from place to. It's like, I'll tell you what, you work for me for like 2 weeks. I'll pay. It's like I'll pay you like $2,000.
Well, then that's when the card feels more valid to her.
Yeah.
Right.
Like a one ride doesn't feel enough. Like she's like, I can't take this for one measly car ride.
He's like, how much? She's like, you gotta pay me a fair rate. And he's like, how much is that? And she like just throws off like, I gotta make $1,000 a week, which is a lot of money for the 90s.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking, I was like, I feel like that's as much as we
I think
make.
she's trying to give like him a really big number, expecting he's gonna say no. And he's like, that seems fair.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's like, how much do you need this for? It's like 2 weeks. And so she decides to go with him.
Yes.
And they're gonna go on this like U-Haul box truck and just pick up like tons of like food and batteries.
They rent a storage unit.
Yeah.
They start dumping it all in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asks her for help with a secondary task.
Yeah, and that's when
to find a nice wife
from
who is
Pasadena.
not a mutant and from Pasadena.
Yes.
It's very good.
It is.
She's a little off-put by this. She's like, I'm not your pimp.
It's like, I can't find you a wife, but I can like get you laid.
Yeah.
Get you laid in 2 weeks. I don't know about
Not about a wife.
But it's around this time we meet Troy, right?
They do a little montage of all the stuff for like of them running around, and then I think it ends up. I think when they start looking for the wife, they go out, take him to his first bar or something, not bar but club type of thing, and that's when Troy gets
because they see
folded in.
Yeah, because they see their house, right?
Yeah.
And this is where we establish like Brendan Fraser is not a good driver because
he's never driven before.
He's never driven before,
Yeah.
and the driving stuff in this movie is fucking hilarious because it's all so real. They didn't spare any expense with the car stunts on this. They actually wrecked a few cars in this, which just goes to show the added little value that they put in during this.
That's why I'm like the production value. Like they took, since they didn't go on many locations, and I think since this movie is like low budget when it comes to like location wise, they could spend that money in other ways. There's no visual effects
right
in this movie.
No, not at all. Because like
that immediately reduces the amount of
rear ends and like hits a few cars in the movie, and it doesn't like cut away like if they're trying to save money. No, he actually hits the cars on camera.
Yeah,
it's actually like really funny. And so, but I think they get to the house, and that's where we first see Troy, played by David Foley.
Our best friend from Kids in the Hall Brain Candy.
Kids in the Hall Brain Candy. David Foley and Brendan Fraser has another movie together.
Oh.
Kids in the Hall Brain Candy.
Dave Foley of Kids in the Hall fame and Flick from A Bug's Life.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was going to mention Flick.
But David Foley plays the unfortunate, like, stereotypical gay brother.
Best friend.
Isn't he a brother?
Not best friend.
I thought he was her brother.
We will also, there's another Fraser Foley combo coming up.
Yeah.
That we will talk about.
This house for California and Los Angeles, holy shit.
It's a nice house.
Huge.
This is a huge house.
Yes.
For 2 people to live in.
I love movies from the 90s where it's like, my dad's a mailman, my mom's a teacher, look at this mansion we live in.
Right, yeah. David Foley's character, Troy, he is a web designer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is a thing that...
Is he Spider-Man?
Right.
He's a web designer.
It's like, I'm going to go look it up on my computer. It's like, wait, where's he going? It's like, he's going to go check up your answers on his computer. It's like, he has a computer?
Yeah.
In the house?
Huh?
It's like, no, it's in our backyard. Yes, it's in the house.
Because she uses her psychic powers to determine he's from Alaska.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like, what's the capital of Alaska? Juneau. It's like, no, it's Anchorage. Like, no, Anchorage is the largest city. Juneau's the capital.
And he just knows this stuff because
he's smart.
What
He's
else?
smart.
What else is he gonna do his whole life?
He's been reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you asked him a question about any other historical things from like the 70s or 80s, then yeah, he wouldn't.
He didn't know. Well, they do. They do eventually. I can't remember exactly.
Like, who's Richard Nixon?
Yeah, they ask him about like the different presidents or like John F. Kennedy or something.
He's like, JFK was my favorite. He was a great president. I hope he had a second term. I'm like, buddy, let me tell you.
Oh man. Little did they know.
Yeah, little did they know.
And
ask not what you can do for your ask not what your country can do for you.
Ask what you
can do for your country.
Yeah.
Wow.
Christopher Walken for president.
Oh. No, don't do. Let's not start that.
I do not have enough lung capacity to do it.
To do your Bill Clinton impression.
Yeah. Oh God.
He does a pretty good Bill Clinton impression.
Have I heard it before?
Oh, hi Savannah.
Oh no.
How are you?
Get it out of here.
All right. Get him out of here.
That's my feelings too.
Please show up on the walkie just doing that tomorrow.
Oh, come on.
That's just that. What if you just went the whole day talking in that accent and that's what people think you sound like after you're cold?
Dude.
Yeah, get that shit out. Cold.
It's a little beastly
acute
RSV.
upper respiratory infection.
You really could. You could fool people at least for the first hour.
She's like, this is how I sound like now.
I'm
still recovering.
Please.
PA's fallen.
I was affected with a case of Clintonitis.
Was that like assaulting women?
Hey. Oh no.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Right.
You know who wouldn't assault women? Adam. Or Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Nope.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
And so I think this is the bit where they're going to go take him out to this club.
Yeah.
Well, they have to give him a makeover first, which I wish we would have done like a makeover montage, like in a mall. I feel like that probably was cut. Like they definitely wrote it.
Yeah.
Because it's the 90s. It's a 90s movie. There's always a
and
mall.
There's a gay best friend, of course.
Yeah. There's always a makeover montage cut, but they didn't put it in, and that makes me really sad because it would have been really good to see him.
Yeah, because all we really see is him coming back with David Foley.
Dressed exactly like David Foley.
He's got like a long leather jacket that goes down to like his knees.
Yeah.
He's got like nice shirt, nice
It's also nice that this movie has a gay character who's not like treated as a joke.
Right.
Yeah. No, he's very serious. Like a very...
there's a few like, token jokes here and there.
And David Foley he says to Fraser, it's like, oh, I'm gay. He's like, oh, good for you.
Yeah. And he thinks he's just happy.
Yeah. Just happy. But especially coming off of Gods and Monsters, it's nice to see Fraser kind of more progressive gay representation movies.
Well, like you said, it's very liberal. He is very liberal
for the 60s.
For the 60s. Yes. He comes up and, I mean, he doesn't know any different. So
Right.
that kind of tells you where things are, how
how
prejudice
things
is
are
treated. You know, it's all about how, like, what you
perceive
or what you're told rather
Yes.
than initial reaction.
nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
But this movie doesn't dive too much into it because it is a light comedy.
Yeah.
Yes. But if they did, like, just reading between the lines, that is another thing that makes it, like, very interesting.
Pleasantville is kind of like the serious version of this movie.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you should do Tobey Maguire next. That would be a good one.
The Maguire MacGuffin.
Maguired and what's like
Wired into Maguire.
Ooh.
Maguired?
Maguired. You'd have to watch all the Spider-Man
Wait.
movies, which would just be fun.
I was gonna do something with Toby, but like I don't know. Toby or not Toby?
The Toby take?
Toby or not Toby? That's actually pretty
Tobied?
good.
We'll figure if we ever do him, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
At minimum, we have 2 years before we
Yeah, you got time.
Yeah.
We have time to figure this out.
We already have season 3 all planned.
Yeah,
I know. I remember hearing about
spoilers.
it. We won't mention it.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
So they do bring him to a club.
Mm-hmm.
And they bring him to a 1940s swing style club.
Yeah.
Which is perfect.
Because they're like, yeah, he would know this.
Yeah.
And we get a very lovely dance scene.
Yeah.
Where Alicia Silverstone is trying to guide him towards nice girls.
We have to meet Nathan Fillion first.
Yeah. Oh, we do meet Nathan Fillion, who's playing a dick.
Wait a
Ugh.
minute. Did we
What?
miss the roller skating bit?
No, that's later. That's later.
Is it later?
I
Where
believe
he's
so.
skating in the park and he jumps in the ocean?
What's
I think
this?
so.
It's
There's a
what-
scene when they go to Venice Beach.
Yeah, the pier.
And
No, it is after they go
It is-
shopping because he's like, oh, look at your outfit. He's like,
oh,
more
and he got the
importantly.
rollerblades. Yeah.
And then they do that, and then they go dancing.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, there's a little scene where he goes rollerblading, and this one's actually it's a kind of a sweet scene because he's rollerblading, and to my knowledge, I don't think they use much of a stunt double. I really think it's Brendan Fraser just rollerblading.
Yeah.
He's doing all of it
Brendan
himself.
doesn't use stunt doubles.
I mean-
You'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
Savannah.
I'll talk about how he broke his body.
The man's from Indiana.
He can do anything.
He can roller skate.
He can roller skate. This is the
You would
perfect
know.
episode.
Yeah.
You,
We
Stuart,
would know.
One of
know.
the 3 things you can do in Indiana: roller skate, go to Walmart,
And go on a night drive.
go on a night drive.
3 things.
The 3 things.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all
Well,
I
and
did
number
in college.
4.
And play board games.
Number 4 is get your 16-year-old girlfriend pregnant.
Yes.
So.
You would know about that.
At the age of 16, by the way. I don't mean like you're older and she's...
Sure, you seem to know a lot about this.
Look. Oh, God. Man.
Teen pregnancy is rampant in Indiana. That's what I'm getting
it's
at.
too much.
Yes.
Too much.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a scene where he's skating and he skates by... why are you looking at me like that?
I'm not. Just keep going.
You gave me a look.
Aw.
Keep going.
You guys haven't seen each other in a minute.
A while.
It's like been a week.
I've been
Ish.
criminally sick sitting here watching some of the worst movies ever made.
All 3 Pinocchios from 2022.
Yeah, I had the Pinocchio trio. I watched the Robert Zemeckis Pinocchio, the fucking Pauly Shore Pinocchio.
That's
and
a
the
podcast miniseries
and the
right
Guillermo
there.
del Toro Pinocchio, back to back to back. It was hellish.
That's a
The Guillermo del
podcast.
Toro one was great. But
Well, because I'm not gonna lie, Pinocchio's like it's a good story, but it is not
there's
that
so much
good of a
Pinocchio
story.
you can take in one
Yeah,
day,
that's
folks.
not that good of a story.
I was at my wit's end. It prolonged my illness.
Which one did you watch last? The Guillermo del
Yes,
Toro?
because I wanted to end on a good note.
Did you watch
that's
The
fair.
Father? Why don't you let
Yes,
me
I
be on
did.
my own?
It was maybe the
Father,
worst
I
movie I've
put up
ever
on my
seen.
own. The only
I have the
criticism.
world to see.
The joke ran out 5 minutes in, and there was still 85 minutes left of the movie.
That's the worst part. The only bad part about the Guillermo del Toro one was
It
that
ends.
it ends and that Ewan McGregor didn't sing more.
He only sings twice in that movie.
Barely.
It's a lovely movie, though.
He's
It is
Jiminy
a-
Cricket,
He
right?
is Jimmy
Yeah.
Cricket.
But that
Sebastian
man-
J. Cricket.
That man has like one of the best voices.
He's McGregor. We'll do it one day.
Okay, please. I get Moulin Rouge if that happens.
Viewing Ewan.
Ewan.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's right there.
Stuart, I am adding this as a potential. I'm writing it down.
No, okay, but think about all the good movies that Ewan McGregor's in.
Oh
Big
my
Fish,
god!
Big Fish,
The
Moulin Rouge,
All the prequels.
all the prequels.
I watched all the prequels this past week. That was something.
Ewan. Oh my
Ewan.
God! Right out of the fucking back pocket.
Stuart really just pulled that one out.
No, and that was good. And please,
proud of that
please,
one.
I gotta. Ewan McGregor. You could do You'd have to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series.
Well, we don't do.
Oh,
TV.
you don't do TV.
Right.
Yeah, because that's just
It's too much.
Too much. Because he's been in other TV stuff, probably, right? Ewan
Yeah.
McGregor.
Yeah. Here and
A
there.
special would be watching one of his like Broadway stage performances.
yeah.
Which you should do because
Absolutely.
that's the good acting.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor. No, can't do it.
Oh,
right.
look at the bunch of sea
So they're
otters.
at it.
You'd have to do. Isn't he in Brave? You'd have to watch
I
Brave.
think so.
I don't think he's in Brave.
No, not Brave. That's
in
Brendan
something
Gleeson. Hold on.
We would have to hilariously watch. There's a lot of crazy movies. How do we get
Trainspotting?
on a fucking Ewan McGregor train right now? We have to
Sorry,
watch
it's Guillermo del Toro's.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
we
brought
have
him
to watch
up.
both. We would have to watch Salmon Fishing in the Yemen.
You'd have to watch I Love You, Philip Morris.
We would also hilariously have to watch Star Wars: The Force Awakens and Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, but not The Last Jedi, because he does do a voice of Obi-Wan in both those movies.
Last Jedi. Love.
The best movie.
It is.
So they're in a club.
Yes, they're in a club. This is when they after he jumps into the ocean and it's really pure because he's never jumped
Yes.
into the ocean.
So Nathan Fillion's a dick, and they go to a club.
Yeah, and it's Eve's ex,
Yes, Nathan Fillion is Eve's ex.
and he looks so good though. He's such an
Nathan-
asshole, but he looks so good.
I said Nathan Fillion looks like what? God, what's his name from the Goonies?
Oh,
Corey Feldman.
yeah,
Nathan Fillion looks like what Corey Feldman should have grown up to look like,
a little bit, yeah.
except he got sexually assaulted and his life was ruined, which did not happen to Nathan Fillion.
No,
Anyway,
still a good human being though.
yeah, good guy.
Love him to this day, actually.
But so they're at this club,
Yeah,
and he meets a girl named Sophie, who
who Eve hates.
who Eve's like, oh, don't let her get her claws in you. She's not nice.
Well, as soon as every woman sees Adam, they're
Yes.
honestly kind of like, "Ooh,"
Yeah, 'cause
because it happens at the beach too. Like two girls are like, "Hi,"
Yeah,
and it's just like so. He immediately is just like established a
Sex
heartthrob.
object.
Yeah, I mean,
he's
his
designed.
his shirt's not even off in this movie once,
Yeah,
as it should
But
be.
you know.
But you know
How
like,
it looks.
He's the way he's dressed. You'd be like, oh, okay.
he's got a fit because he's fit,
yeah.
and that's all you can say about it. He's got fit because he's fit.
Yeah. So yeah, he's
like, Eve, who's a nice girl? And she's like, that girl over there seems nice.
yeah. But then she's like also kind of starting to not self-sabotage, but she's starting to show moments of jealousy.
Yeah. And so he goes over to this random girl and is like, hey, are you from Pasadena? She's like, yes, I am. And he's like, great. Would you like to dance with me? And then her friend comes over and he's like, would you both like to dance with me? That's essentially how it goes.
Yeah.
And they dance to a song called Mr. Zoot Suit.
And this
And he's
dance
impeccable.
scene is
Do you know who choreographed this dance scene?
No.
John Travolta.
No. This connected though. This dance scene is, I watched the end credits. He is choreographed by Adam Shankman.
I
who is
heard
the
that
director-
name.
I heard that name.
The director of Hairspray.
I was just about to say. I was like, yeah, that's definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. Adam Shankman, he was a dance choreographer in the 90s before his first movie was The Wedding Planner.
Look at that.
But that makes sense. Hairspray was set in the 60s.
And then he and then after
he
he gets out of choreographing, gets into directing, he still choreographs dance numbers in his movies, like
That's
Hairspray.
so cool,
He does
though.
Rock of Ages.
That's great.
Ugh.
He recently
Musical
directed
movies.
Disenchanted.
Wow. Full
Look,
circle.
Disenchanted. We're
Yeah.
full circle with that
Full
too.
circle with
They
Enchanted.
don't play the song "Disenchanted" by My Chemical Romance in that movie.
But
Why would they,
fun
though?
fact, this dance scene is the inspiration for the theme music for this very show.
Really?
Because Brendan Fraser doesn't really have a style of music connected to him like Travolta does.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I was looking, I looked up like Brendan Fraser music scenes.
Yeah.
And I found this. I was like, I like this tune. So I sent it to our composer, Michael Van Bodegom Smith. Shout out. I was like, hey, can you do something in this style? And so our theme music for Travolting, or the Fraser's Edge, is inspired by Mr. Zoot Suit from the scene.
Great.
Wow.
I love that.
Fun
Fact. Did Brennan do that whole entire dance?
I don't know if he
Looks
did
by himself.
It looks like him.
It looks
It
like
looks
him.
like him.
He at least did a decent amount of it.
Yeah. Maybe
there's
not all
some-
the body throwing, but because it's a lot of classic swing style dancing.
Right.
But that's also like I could see him learning it.
I can see him learning it too. I can see him committing to it. It is like quick cuts, but it's quick cuts to wides. It's not a lot of tight close-up dance shots. So I commend it. I think it's shot fairly well.
Yeah.
And the choreography is really nice.
Which is also a tie back to his parents teaching him, or his mom teaching him how to dance.
Exactly.
Which is another like thing that is super. I don't know. It's a good thing to teach your kids, and
Right.
especially teach your son. Like that would get a girl, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Dance with the Girl Alive.
Yeah.
Big Joe's, and there you go.
Oh my God. You are from Indiana.
I know. Well, it's fitting that Brennan's from Indiana. We're
Yeah. You're
Indianans.
Indianans.
Hoosiers.
Oh God.
The oh God for me.
Yeah. So Eve leaves.
Out of jealousy.
Yeah, out of jealousy,
Yeah.
and she goes home, and Troy comes back, and she's like, "Where's Adam?" And he's like, "I don't know. Didn't leave with me. Left with another girl.
It's like, who? One of those bimbos or
like,
whatever? It's like,
no.
no. It was Sophie.
He left with Sophie, and Eve is so upset."
She's
And
freaking
she
out.
goes outside to go find him. She's gonna drive to Sophie's house, and then he knocks on her window.
Yeah.
It's like,
she
oh.
freaks out.
And she freaks out and yells at him, tells him to leave. And then he's like,
And this is when she falls. Is this when she falls down?
Yeah.
Yes.
She injures herself.
Because this is the moment that I was talking about.
Yeah.
So she falls down, and in the midst of all of like not only the revelation of she's like figuring out that she's like, "Ugh, I have feelings," and Troy's like, "No shit, you do."
Yeah.
And so when he knocks on the window or the door, and she falls down because he's there.
She hurts her knee.
She hurts her knee, and he's just ultra caring. Like,
Oh, yeah.
even though she's yelling at him, he's like, "Just sit down and let me take care of you, God
Yeah.
damn it!" And rips her pant like.
wait a minute. So, like, she has like her pants at her knee, her left knee is like ripped a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's blood coming out of her, like where her knee is. And but he looks at it, he's
like-
like, are these pants ruined? It's like, are you gonna wear these pants again? Probably not. Rip. And it's like, oh.
I literally I had to like pause the movie for a minute because I was just like, holy shit, because there was no hesitation, and the look in his eye during that moment was so.
Wow.
Literally though,
And he rips those pants.
He rips the pants, and he rips it and like looks her up in the eye in that moment too, and I'm like, good lord.
And he disinfects that wound.
And
let
he
me tell you.
disinfects it, but takes care of her as well as she's still yelling at him.
And he's like with a little Q-tip, just rubbing that disinfectant. Like,
That's essentially what's happening. Because I think, is this when they share their first
Yeah.
kiss?
Yes.
and he puts that, and he he liqueurs that Band-Aid down. Just like,
It's like,
yeah,
there you go.
leaves that Band-Aid down. little stroke along the leg.
no.
But this is also.
And then he
this,
leans back.
All right.
This is
all
a
right.
part of Brendan Fraser
And
coming
he
out because I
puckers
feel
up.
like Adam would not have been as like sexual.
And he puckers up, and he leans into that little cut with the Band-Aid on it. And there's a little kiss.
All right.
I'm so uncomfortable.
Like that. We're getting hot and heavy over here. Then Jeff gets like, all right, guys,
Sensual.
so this is what happens.
No, but like seriously though, that was one of those moments where I was like, "Whoo, hot damn!"
I also was just like, whoa, wait a minute. Something
Him
happened.
kissing the leg is like, whoa!
Yeah, it was a lot. But yeah, and then they kiss.
And then they
Yes.
kiss. Well, because, yeah, like this whole time she's kind of just fighting her feelings. And she's like, how can I like somebody who has no idea what anything is?
Yeah.
But it has nothing to do with.
Yeah, but
that.
they basically fully fall in love at that moment. And
Yeah.
then he tells her the truth,
Yeah.
that he was in a bunker.
And she's like, holy
And she's
shit,
like, oh,
he's
he's
crazy.
a crazy guy. And kicks him out.
Not only is he a lost puppy dog, but he's
batshit
insane.
crazy. He's insane. Because he also says like, and I want to bring you down with me and
Yeah,
say
into
here
my
with my
underground
stay.
bunker.
Yeah.
parents.
If he would have left that part out, I think she would have been like, okay. All right.
But it was
I
I want you to come to my bunker with me.
Bring you underground.
meet my family.
That's actually how I proposed. I was like, I want you to come underground with me.
It worked.
Oh my god. Oh wow. So yeah, he leaves, and then she kicks him out, and then he comes back.
The next day, him and Troy are out driving.
Yeah.
In a truck.
Yeah. And this is like to get to the back to the bunker.
Yeah, and he ran, and while they go to pick up supplies, and they drive by an adult bookstore. He's like, "Oh!" and he runs out, and then we cut to inside the
Yes.
where
the
Joey
elevator is.
Slotnick has now assembled a congregation.
Yes,
of
he's
like
a
probably
full
20 people.
cult.
There's a child in there.
Of a
There is
bunch
a
of
child
homeless.
in there.
It's all like homeless.
Yeah, and he's preaching
People.
he's like, "And he came, and the sun said he will return. And Lord, we ask you for a sign."
Which when does Sissy come back up? Because she comes up eventually, and he's like, "What are you, the mother?" And they're like, "Oh!"
And she goes right back. And she goes right back down.
Yeah. I can't remember when exactly that happens.
But he's like, "Well, Lord, send us a sign." And then Fraser opens the door,
looks in,
and Joy's like, "Ooh!" And he like flips out seeing this guy, and
then
he's
he
like,
goes-
"Hi!" And then he closes the door because he found it.
yeah.
and then they take the truck back to Troy's house.
Yes.
And he walks in. That's where he sees they say child protective services or family services.
Family services. It's
Right.
It's like a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, we want you to come with us. You've evidently been living in a bunker or something. Like, maybe we should come with us. And he's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. You guys going to take me away or something? And he does a really good, like, puppy dog eyes. Like, I don't want to go away with you guys. Like, Eve, why are you doing this to me? And then he then starts running.
Yeah.
And there's a dude chasing him, but he can't catch up. He does like a whole 360 around the
house.
yard of
Yeah.
the house. And he's like, Eve, whatever you do, just like come find me. What does he say? Like,
Probably something about the adult bookstore.
Yeah. No, he said he's.
oh, he gives her a baseball card, I think.
He doesn't tell her to come find him. He just he tells her that he loved her, and then he drives off. And then he
steals the truck. He takes the U-Haul truck.
Backs into a car.
he backs into the psychiatrist's car, who loses her mind.
Yeah. And then drives off, has the congregation that is forming help them take all the food
Grab those
down.
supplies.
Yeah.
So Eve and Troy go to the storage facility and see that it's already been emptied by the homeless congregation.
Yeah.
This army that he has assembled. And then they go to the Holiday Inn, and they walk in, and they're like, "Oh, let's see if we can find anything here." And he clues. And they don't find anything, but they do find the stocks.
Stocks in the baseball card.
The stocks and the baseball cards. And he calls Troy calls his friend who works in some accounting office or something. And the guy's like, "Those would be worth millions nowadays."
Yeah. Or no, do they? No, they don't call Nathan Fillion. That wasn't Nathan Fillion's character.
It's just another,
It's just
another guy.
accountant guy.
We never talked about how Brennan fucks up and beats up Nathan Fillion.
Oh, he does accidentally beat up Nathan Fillion.
And every time, like, Nathan Fillion's like, okay, and then does it again, and he just blocks it and punches him again.
Super
great moment.
You should
Practice self-defense in the bunker. And
Yeah.
So he just casually...
You should know, I am trained to defend myself.
Yeah.
And it's just
Very
like a
good.
quick punch back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then Eve is like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have called those people on him. Like, I kind of believe him. Like, I think he just really wants to go back home." So then she talks to Troy. It's like, well, there's something about an adult bookstore.
Yeah.
Like, that was the last place that we went to, and then came back
stopped,
here.
yeah.
So they go to that adult bookstore, and they go inside, and that's where we get like all of like the blurred,
Yeah, the blurred out porn.
Yeah.
right? Which is like, why do you shoot at that location?
Yeah.
Why is that your spot if you're gonna have to do that in post anyway?
Just put all softcore stuff up front
right,
and just film that, and the guy's like, "Yeah, the hardcore stuff's in the back," and then you just don't have to show it.
right,
Yeah.
Unless if you were like planning on this to be a rated R movie, which is a thought that I had, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It would make sense.
It's weird with the Brendan Fraser, Alicia Silverstone casting.
Yeah.
To perceive it as R at the beginning.
I'm sure they just didn't think about it when they filmed it, that they would have to blur it out.
If I was the director that day, walked on set, I'd be like, I looked at my first idea and be like, why the fuck did we choose this location?
Yeah. But they do go to that. They walk out the adult bookstore and they can't find the entrance to the bunker.
They asked the adult bookstore worker or something.
Yeah.
They're like, "Is there another entrance here?" And they're like, "Yeah, out back." And that's when they see the U-Haul truck.
Yes. Well, the U-Haul truck pulls out right before they get out there. But there is one good bit in the adult books. There's like a creepy guy in a corner
Yeah.
who like is holding all these dolls, and he's just like it keeps cutting to him, and he's backing away, hiding in a corner. It's a good bit.
It's good. It's probably just some background fucker who
Yeah.
just got picked. And you're
Yeah.
like, you're gonna be
you
the
look
creep.
like a creep. And he's like, thanks.
It's not like Jeff. You tried to audition to be a creep for.
I desperately want to play a creep.
I know.
It is my dream.
We'll make it happen.
We should. But so they give up and they get in the car and they start driving. And then we cut to Eve's answering machine where Adam is calling her and saying like, I hope you accomplish all your dreams and that I love you very much. Mm-hmm. And she's not hearing this obviously. But we get to hear him say it. And as they're driving in slow-mo, she looks at the window and she sees him leave a phone booth. And she's like,
And just walking. Yep.
And it's slow mo. And then they embrace.
They
and
like did the whole run and hug and
kiss. And then we cut to inside the bunker, right?
yes.
Where he brings her down to the bunker, and that's where they see Christopher Walken, Sissy Spacek. It's like, Mom, Dad, this is Eve.
Yeah, she's like, I'm from Pasadena.
And Sissy Spacek's like, oh, you're from Pasadena.
Sissy just like immediately takes her into.
Yeah.
It's at this point that I wished we'd have more cutbacks to Walken and Spacek.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of absent from the middle
A
of the
little
movie.
bit. Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's a problem I have.
But
Yeah, this movie's like paced good, but it's also like it could have been rearranged in different ways.
It had a lot of bits that it could have like used. I mean, like it had like the cult plot, it had the Walken Spacek plot, and then it had the Fraser plot. Like there's a few different things that it could have like tagged back and forth on, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But so Fraser tells his parents like, all right, I want you to set the timer for 2 months, and then we'll be back for you guys.
Yeah, which does feel like really quick that was like they just decided to do all that. Like
Yeah.
it in 2 weeks, Adam has become like
A smart guy.
who understands the world above. But
Yeah.
it's like, how can you not describe to your family like, hey, the world's actually not weird.
Right. Because what they do is they turn in their like stock bonds for like they're millionaires.
Yeah.
And so he makes a recreation of their house,
Which is the sweetest thing I've ever
Oh, man.
I've ever seen in my life.
and he brings his parents there.
And it's in the
And-
middle of nowhere too,
the
so
middle
they're
of
not
nowhere.
like
They're not like freaked out by
super
all
jarred.
the stuff. And so this is SpaceX in like a whole new world. It's like, oh my God, we can see the sky. We can see places.
But it's not a whole new world. It's the world that she left behind.
I know. Yeah. And Christopher Walken's like, well, it's not quite the bunker.
Yeah.
That was his pride and joy.
And
Aside
so
Adam.
Fraser and Walken are talking. He's like kind of filling him in on what happened. It's like, so Dad, like I was gonna wait a little bit to tell you this, but like the bomb never fell.
Yeah.
The
The Soviet Union collapsed peacefully.
Yeah, the shot wasn't fired. The Cold
Yeah.
War's over. It's like those damn commies.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
I bet you they said that's pretending to be democracies now. He's like, that's how they get you.
And so then he starts like pacing in the backyard, like he's gonna build another bunker.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's spacing it out with the lawn furniture.
Yes.
Right. And that's where the movie ends.
Yeah.
Lovely little.
It doesn't end with them like showing Adam and Eve like living
They
their perfect
eat
life.
They eat an apple, and society continues.
Yeah, society continues.
Right.
Charming little movie.
Yeah.
It really is. It's so heartwarming for being just like a weird plot,
Yeah.
to be honest.
So it'd definitely be like, I would watch this with the family if I was like slightly older. I wouldn't say this is like a little kid movie,
No.
because there's a few more like mature stuff in
Yeah.
it, but it's like perfect for like if you have a family and all your kids are like 16 or older.
Yeah.
Like if your youngest is like 16, like this would be a good family watch for you guys. Like
Yeah.
a mature family movie.
Mature family movie. That's a good sense. A good teen and up.
Yeah.
PG-13.
Yeah.
Its truest sense.
It's a
Yeah.
true PG-13 though.
Yeah.
Not a PG-13 that you could skate by like X-Men The Last Stand was PG-13. It's more like, this is actually like PG-13.
X-Men The Last Stand is
Yeah.
such a weird pull.
I know.
Why did you pull X-Men
I
The
don't
Last
know why.
Stand?
Yeah.
I just remember because like Revenge
see
of
it
the
over
Sith
there?
is also PG-13.
Yes.
I only mean this in the way that you can take kids to go see Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, it's
you
the
can take kids to
Revenge
go
of the
see
Sith,
X-Men
the
Last
first Star Wars
Stand.
movie rated PG-13.
But-
Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace are just PG. It's very funny.
Right. But like this movie is PG-13 and it's a true PG-13.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know.
It just makes my heart happy. I said when I was thinking of like how I would describe how this movie make me feels, it's like the nostalgia factor that like 13 going on 30 brings.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's because it's just like it's so out there and so I can't think of the exact word for it, but it's just different.
That late 90s, early 2000s comfort food. Because we were kids at that age, so it's like it's comfort food to us to be reminded of our childhood.
I mean that's fair.
Yeah.
But it's good for all ages because there are things in there that everyone can grasp onto time-wise.
Yeah. Jeff, do you have any post-text this movie?
So this movie comes out on February 12th, 1999.
Right before Valentine's Day.
Oh, it is a Valentine's Day movie, isn't it?
That's
Isn't it?
It's good timing.
That is a good time.
It's not a success. It makes its budget.
That's good.
Not in America though. In America, it only makes $26 million.
What was its budget?
$35 million.
Okay, so mid-level.
It was like a mid-level budget.
Yeah.
It grosses 40.3 overall, so it doesn't make the budget back in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
But when you add on like marketing and theaters taking half, it probably doesn't make money.
Yeah.
It gets pretty decent. It gets decent enough reviews. It's like an average like 5 or 6 out of 10. Roger Ebert likes this movie.
Yeah.
He says he appreciated that it tried to be a little more than just a charming comedy.
Yeah.
But what it does do is that it eventually developed something of a cult following. And it just establishes, Fraser more in the iconography of the era.
Yeah.
He's just, he's top billed. He's getting a lot of presence in movies. This is just another thing to throw him into the pot.
Well, and like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I really think this does solidify like what movies he's going to be doing for a while after this. Like George of the Jungle did that too, but I really feel like this movie like sets the pace.
Well, George of the Jungle is like the first.
Yeah, exactly.
And then this is just, hey, you're really good at playing the like lovable idiot.
Yeah.
But I think
with a hot bod.
We talked about this, but I think the real charm of this movie is how much work went into like crafting this movie.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like a lazy movie.
No.
A lot of work went into the art design, into
costume,
all that stuff.
Casting. I think casting is really good.
I think it's well worth reevaluating this movie for its, merits in those scenes.
Yeah.
Something I did forget to bring up that I really liked is that Eve's house, there's a very intentional choice to the books that she has, that she and Troy have. They're all like movies about filmmaking. And like financing films and first time directing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So the indication that these people moved to LA to learn how to make movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't ever. What does Eve want to do?
They never go into it, but I like that through the design of the world, they tell you what these characters are, even if the movie doesn't.
That is nice.
Yeah.
And very rare sometimes anymore.
A lot of movies will just like it'll be like some dirt apartment in a movie and they'll be like Homer's The Odyssey on the wall and you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah, they're filmmakers.
Whereas I feel like
you put work into establishing character through location.
I think this would be a great movie to show like production design film students.
100%.
Yeah.
100% because you have to.
Yeah. You can pause this movie at almost any frame and there's something to notice.
It's a movie that at no point needed all that, but vastly benefits from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I just want to shout that out, especially at the end here.
Yeah.
That's all I have in terms of post-text. Did you guys have any final thoughts?
I'd watch it again.
I've watched it multiple times and as like literally as a putting it on just in the background, it's just comforting.
Yeah,
it's nice.
It's comfort food.
But it's also
like
just fun to rewatch.
Yeah.
Because rewatching it and like noticing other little things. I don't know. It's just good.
Yeah. Well, this was a pleasant experience talking about this pleasant little movie with you guys.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on, Savannah. It was a pleasure having you. I'm sure we'll have you back at some point.
Please do. It has to be, what was it? Viewing Ewan.
That was such a good pull. Thank you folks for listening this week. Make sure to tune next week for our show-stopping episode on The Mummy.
Oh.
So next week we're diving into Stephen Sondheim. Stephen Summers' 1999 film, The Mummy.
Oh,
starring
boy.
Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz.
It's a big one.
A
really
fabulous movie that I'm very excited to talk about and watch again.
Yes.
But
Rick
until
O'Connell.
then, Please remember to rate, review, subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. As a reminder, we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. You can find us on Reddit, r/Travolting. You can pop into our Instagram or Twitter at TravoltingPod. You can email us TravoltingPodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter at Jeff W. Sweeney.
You can find me at SavvyJ44.
You can find me at Stuart.Elmore95.
And as always, special thanks to Rebecca Johnson for our graphic design, Michael Van Bodegum Smith for our theme music, and Ange Gardner for our social media.
Thank you, Ange.
Thanks, Ange.
Check in with you folks next week for The Mummy. Have a great week.